Last time we did the 2-2 notes and packet. Today we're going to start with the 2-2 packet and try to do the 2-3 notes. We'll see if we have time to do the 2-3 packet today too. We'll see how that goes. Seems to me as we do these that like the first one is kind of slow and the pick up pace as we go because we kind of get comfortable with the idea in there. You know, for the most part, are just like same idea again. I give you guys all of them. Well, I know it's like Cameron or Tommy or whatever.
Cameron's probably not gonna talk.
Yeah. I you know what? Like, it's still okay. Like, we'll set one there for him. If he shows, he shows. If he don't, you know, like, put his name on it, be able to hand it to him and give me time when I see him later. So, do the same thing back here, I guess, too, for James Marcelino and that'll help me maybe making sure that if people get their late works or whatever. I don't get it. All right. So we're looking at the 2-2 work together. So remember in chapter 2, we've been working on using these T accounts for each of the accounts in our accounting equation. So let's read this through the directions. T accounts are given in the working papers. That's the page you have. That's all the little T charts you have there. Your instructor will guide you through the following examples. Jensen Cleaning Service uses the following accounts. Some of the accounts will be explained in lesson 2-3. So first thing I'm going to do is each one of these T accounts gets a label. So cash, accounts receivable. Wait a minute, let's count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. That seems good. So label. Oh, maybe not. Stop. Don't do that. Just wait. Nope. Because I see in the transaction some things are just happening over and over again. So I think we're going to just use some of these are going to get labeled, the ones that we need. My apologies. Okay. So these are the accounts we might use, but that'll depend on transactions. So we have on March 1st, received cash from owner as investment, $4,000. So the first T we're going to label as March 1st. We're going to call that cash because that's where this is coming in. And which side of the asset column will cash be going in? The debit side or credit? Debit. And the other account that's going to be affected is the equity account. So that'll be the second one, like John Jansen Capital. So the next T chart, I'm going to label that. And we're going to get 4,000 into the credit side. Remember, increases on assets, equity and liability go on the credit side. So your first T is cash with 4,000 on the left. Your second T is John Jensen Capital with 4,000 on the right. Everybody's okay?
Yeah.
So that first transaction affects the cash account and the equity account.
Do you need plus arrows for this?
You do not use pluses and minuses here because that's what the debit and credit columns are. Is the plus and minuses implied
That's what I assumed.
with the side you're using. Yeah, good question though, right? Like we're all doing this for the first time. The process is new to all of us. The symbols, like how are we tracking this? Everybody's okay? So far, so good? Do I need to pause here? Is everybody, we're all caught up? Okay. So the next one we'll have March 3rd. So the next T column we're going to label March 3rd. So that'll be the third one down, or the third one on there that you decided to use. I would have gone like columns, but if you're going left and right, that's fine. You can do it that way too. Hey, James. Oh. It says paid cash for supplies, $95. So what two accounts are going to be affected with paying cash for supplies? Cash and supplies. Great. Is the effect on supplies a credit or debit? Debit. So it goes on the left. Is the effect on cash credit or debit? Credit, because you're removing money from the cash account. Remember, both of these are asset classes, so they're both on the same side of the accounting equation. Cash and supplies. So one should be a credit, one should be a debit.
So what's the top one?
So we'll have supplies. It doesn't matter. And the other ones are cash.
So this is
Correct. Yeah, so I'm walking around. Here we should be recording the dollar amounts here, people, not just arrows up and down. So looking at, came by, walked around, looked at some people, what they're doing. So here we should be including dollar amounts. So for our first transaction, we should have had 4,000 onto the debit side of cash, and then 4,000 on the credit side of capital.
Can you repeat number 3, what you did for that?
That's March 3rd.
Yeah.
So it's not transaction 3, it's the transaction on March 3rd. But yes.
Yeah.
So here we have paid cash for supplies.
Yeah.
$95. So I'm going to put 95 on the debit side of supply.
Okay.
Because supplies are coming up. We're getting more supply. That asset is growing. We're putting 95 on the credit side of cash because we're losing that $95 in cash. It's turning into supplies.
Makes sense.
So far, so good? Okay. 4.
It's so simple.
Or March 4th. Seems like I'm bothering to scroll across. Oh, I don't blame you. I'm talking loud. Okay, March 4th. Bought supplies on account from Supply Depot, $120. What two accounts are going to be affected here? Supplies and accounts payable. Supply Depot. So those are your two labels. For supplies, the $120 goes on the debit or credit side. Debit side is correct. For the accounts payable, that goes on the debit or credit side. Correct. I was mid like a little silent burp there. It was like a little air bubble coming out, so I had to pause. It's not trying to like build up the drama there. You know, just like a little indigestion going on. Is everybody still feeling okay? Okay, so again, it's the same thing that we did on the previous lesson, just now we have numbers instead of arrows, right? March 6th says paid cash for insurance. So what two accounts are going to be affected here? Cash and prepaid insurance, very good. The cash is a credit because it's going down. So you credit cash $250. The prepaid insurance is a debit, because you're increasing its value by $250.
So is the cash debit increasing?
The cash is credit $250 because credit is minus on the asset side.
Okay.
So just like, let me
Are
just.
they always going to balance out, like, if debit's increasing in the first one, it's going to be decreasing in the second? Are we gonna?
Yes.
Are we gonna build up on?
So remember, like, you have three classes, right? You have assets, you have liabilities, and you have equities. So like on a, maybe let's not use arrows. So for an asset class, if it's a plus, you go on the debit side. If it's a credit, you go on the minus side. For a liability, a plus goes on the credit side and a minus would be on the debit side. And the same thing for an equity. So like, depending on which side of the accounting equation you're working from, plus the money means debit or credit, right? This is the trickiest part to get straight. That's why I ask it the first step, like what accounts are we dealing with?
Yeah.
And then we have to think, is that an asset class, liability class, or equity class?
Okay.
Does that help?
So you don't have to make them equal that, or you have to?
So they are equaling out, right? If I add 200 to an asset, it means I have to add 200, so it's going to have to go on the credit side where the adding happens.
Yeah.
If I subtract, or if I add 200 here, I then have to subtract 200 from another asset class to balance it out. So you always have, at least in this situation we've seen, I can't speak to always, I haven't finished the book yet. But for right now, you'll get an asset and a credit. It's whether they are on the same side or if they're on different sides.
Okay.
But you always, at least right now, you'll get a debit and a credit with each transaction. Shaw.
Are we supposed to be putting a plus or minus?
You do not need to put the plus or minus. That's implied by whether you're placing it on the debit or credit side. So you do not need pluses and minuses with the dollar amounts you're writing down right now. Did this help, seeing this picture? So again, like if you go back to the accounting equation, it's doing the same thing. We're just dropping the plus and minuses depending on whether you're putting it on the debit or credit side. Right? It's just trying to simplify this really wide accounting equation into like, I can just look at like a couple of sheets of paper that have each account on them and record things there and then tally there.
I think I brought them because I need to eat them. Because if I don't eat them today, they're just going to sit in my car.
All right, last transaction on March 9th. Paid cash on account to Supply Depot, $80. So what two accounts are being affected here with this transaction?
Cash and accounts payable.
Good, cash and accounts payable. Cash is a what class of account?
It is a asset.
Asset. So for paying cash, that's subtracting out, right?
Your credit.
So it should be a credit, $80 under cash, very good. Supply Depot is
It's a liability.
liability, so getting $80 there should go to the debit side.
Because you're canceling out some.
Correct, because you're canceling out some debt.
Makes sense.
Do you guys need me to read through the numbers here? Or if I feel like we've gone through this slow enough and repeated things enough times. If you guys got it, I'm good. All right, you guys take your turn. Oh, come now. Now this stupid thing in my way. Oh, good. Let me get rid of it. Okay. same thing, you're gonna try this on your own. Again, I'll read through all the solutions at the end after everybody's had a chance to work on it. Do you need me to read these things through in words, or is that just gonna get in the way of you talking over your thinking?
I'll probably do it on fire on.
Yeah, okay. So it's up there. I don't think I can make that any bigger without losing some of it, because for whatever reason, this doesn't want to do the left and right for me, but I'll try one more click here.
Ryan.
And this is enough, right? You don't need any more of the directions in this?
Can you just show us what the text
Oh, yeah. Of course. Yes, you might need those. There you go. I think that should be all we need, right? It's the same directions as the previous.
It could be on both sides.
And again, as a suggestion, as you guys are working through this, you know, like, it might be worthwhile that when you write the title in on the top of your T account, to make a note to yourself, like A, L, or E, like what category is this, asset, liability, equity, to help you with knowing which side is the debit and credit side, right? That's just a little extra careful step you can communicate to yourself about which one is which. Not required by any means, but like, this is all about being careful, right? Like, this is something that I would probably do. I'm like, this will help me just be a little bit more careful, is force myself to think about what type of account this is, so that I make sure I'm using the correct debit and credit sides.
So what you got? Left, right. Right, left, right, left, right. I got it, right, left.
You ready for me to read through solutions here? Is everybody more or less done working?
Should be good on this, bro.
All right.
There's the numbers.
For June 2nd, the two accounts are cash and capital. For cash, you have $3,500 on the left, and capital, you have $3,500 on the right.
Why is it wet and so long?
For June
Why
4th,
is it so wet and so long?
you have prepaid insurance and cash. You have 105 on the left for prepaid insurance and 105 on the right for cash.
Does it matter which ones?
Which one you list first or second? It does not.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, fair question. Again, none of us have done this before.
Yeah.
Fair question. June 5th, your two accounts are supplies and cash. $60 on the left for supplies, $60 on the right for cash. June 8th, your two accounts are supplies and accounts payable, Plumbing World. $800 on the left for supplies, $800 on the right for accounts payable. And then June 9th, your two accounts are accounts payable and cash. $500 on the left to accounts payable and $500 on the right for cash.
Just don't question.
Okay, now we're building on it. Adding love to it. Now we're analyzing. Right. Transaction.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You have an idea. You think? Oh,
I messed up.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we said it on our, that's what we're charging.
Yes. All right. I think I need to zoom this out a little. Okay, that's better. All right, let's take a look at our, oops, hope if I'm on the right. There we go. I think I can probably zoom that in more. The sentences are too long for me to zoom this in anymore, so it's best I can do for you guys. For the next problem, I can make that a little, move that up though, probably easier to see, huh? So turning to the application problem. What are the directions? The same thing you've been doing, right? So take a minute. Read through things and start filling stuff in. We'll go through it in a moment.
So, that side is the plus. Assets, the minus side is the credit. That is the minus. So, not necessarily as we go down to like, but like, you're paying for something, you always have like, this is like cash and supplies, you have minus for cash, plus.
Oh, I see, so it's a minus, but it's on, but it has to be on the side.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, so this is like cash.
Oh, I don't know.
that's the debit plus, that's the credit.
So I put like 200 minus here. Plus it's supplies.
Oh, okay.
That makes sense. Yeah. So just like trying to replace this information without doing the pluses and minuses.
Alright. Okay, so if the arrows follow, either positive goes up, negative goes down.
Correct. So I think about it as like the accounting equation, right? Like we're still doing the same thing, we're just doing it like in different places.
Right.
You know.
Yo. Oh yeah. Cash, credit, accounts payable. Third way down. Yeah.
I had to grab one up. Did I tell you about this for the job?
Cause you're paying cash, and you're using capital.
This one's extra soggy, Ben. You got the worst one. This one's soggy.
Yeah.
Now that I'm looking at it, this one's really bad.
So soggy.
Tommy, I spent $200.
It's different. So it's not.
They were like $4. I got like 3 keys. That's pretty good. But I need $5. I wanted to how did you get them all? I thought we were putting off the last. I'll say from you is well, I guess it's not worth it. Just go to the gas station. Just go to the Michael. They have a sale right now.
I've won so much games just because they try to.
I know. That's what I did. My car was full.
You guys ready for hear the answers here on application?
Yeah.
All right. June 1st, your two accounts are cash and capital. $10,000 on the left for cash, $10,000 on the right for capital. June 2nd, your two accounts are insurance and cash. $4,000 on the left for insurance, $4,000 on the right for cash. June 4th, your two accounts are supplies and accounts payable. $6,000 on the left for supplies, $6,000 on the right for accounts payable. June 5th, your two accounts are supplies and cash. $1,000 on the left for supplies, $1,000 on the right for cash. And lastly, June 8th, your two accounts are accounts payable and cash. $4,000 on the left for accounts payable and $4,000 on the right for cash. So far, so good?
Yeah.
Okay. You guys can hang on to those. We'll turn them in or at the end of the hour. Let's look at the 2-3 PowerPoint. So again, we're now looking at these the type of transactions that affect the owner's equity, other than like that initial seed investment. So you're withdrawing cash as the owner, or if you're paying an expense, like your rent or your heating bill or whatever, those are things that affect the equity side of the equation, either positively or negatively. Or if you're making sales and collecting money from customers, we're going to look at those types of transactions, just like we did in chapter 1, right? We're just now going to use the T accounts to track that. So the first type of transaction we'll look at is receiving cash from sales. So let's say that we received $1,100 cash from selling something, a good or service. So the two assets classes that those are going to affect are cash and equity. So again, the sales side is like an asset liability, or is a liability and equity side account. So the asset class of cash increases, that's going to go on the debit side. And the sales is a liability or equity account, so that goes on the right side as it increases. Like we sold some good or service and collected money from it. They paid us in cash. Sold service is on account. So this is, we're doing a job or giving someone something, and they're going to pay us later. So we've acquired some positive debt rather than negative debt. So the two things that are the two accounts that are being affected are the accounts receivable and the sales. So the accounts receivable, we acquire some positive debt. That's money that we'll get in the future. That's a debit. The sales side, that's going out. We've given away some good or service. That's going to go on the credit side.
So, question is, so sales, that can be a part of the T chart now?
Yes.
2.3?
Yes. Yeah.
And it's usually a credit.
If money's coming in from sales, credit.
Okay, but how would it even go out from sales?
Probably if you had to give something away, like you made a mistake and you gave somebody an extra large fry with their meal.
Oh yeah.
So I think that would be tracked as a negative sale.
Negative sale, yeah.
Or you had to give someone a discount because
you accidentally gave them something.
Yeah, like your pizza was late being delivered and you gave them half off or something. Or if you're just running a sale, like an in-house sale, like everything 50% off, maybe the 50%. Again, this is my first time doing it. I'm only halfway through the book.
Yeah, no, you're good.
So I'm guessing
a
little bit.
It's fine, yeah.
But
That would be my suspicion, is that something like that would count as the debit side of sales. Paid cash for an expense. Expenses, again, are things that aren't assets that you have to pay for. So rent, heat, utilities, those are all expenses. In a case where you have employees, your employees are an expense, right? They're not actually an asset. You can't borrow against them from a bank. Like you can use insurance as collateral. You can't use, the money you're paying to employees as collateral. All right, paid cash for communications bill, $80. So notice that now we're starting to see T chart or T accounts stacked inside of T accounts, right? Look at this picture where we have the owner's equity, and under that owner's equity debit side is that expense T account. And under that expense T account, we have a debit. So again, the credit for cash, paying $80. What are we getting? We're getting this service. What does that service do? It doesn't give us any more equity in our company. It's not something tangible that we own. It just decreases the value of our company because we've traded cash, which has value, for this service, which does not, but is necessary to operate our business.
So why is it in the owner's equity T-chart? Because it's necessary?
Because it affects the equity of the company.
Okay. Because they're losing any.
Right, exactly. Does that, you see it? Received cash on account. So again, this means we sold someone a good or service, they agreed to pay later. This is them paying some or all of their bill. So that's what cash on account means. So here, we're trading this good debt, our accounts receivable, for cash. So the cash is going up. That goes on the debit side. And our good debt goes down, so that would go on the credit side. Is everybody okay there? Again, just like we did on the accounting equation, right? It just, now it's in T charts. And again, I need to go, should have gone through and double check these. That transaction came in after the T chart. I should have done that. Paid cash to owner for personal use. So if you own the company, you can just go into the cash register, pull some money out, and use it to buy lunch or something, right? Like you're the owner, it's your money. You can do that. So here we withdrew equity in the form of cash, $350. So again, we're going to have the asset of cash going down. That's a credit because it's being removed from the cash register. Under the owner's equity, under the debit side of the equation, is going to be the account Michael Douglas drawing. That's like you're withdrawing money from the account, from your business. And there we're going to have a debit of $350.
So here's what I don't get. Why on the owner's equity side, why is debit decreasing rather than credit?
So if you think, so the equity side, credit means plus, debit means minus. So if we're taking $350 out of the business, the value of the business is going down, right? Yeah. In his own personal drawing account, he's getting $350. So that's like a plus. That's debit going up.
Yeah.
Does that
Yeah, it's just like flipped around.
Yes, because this is kind of like Michael Delgado's asset,
Okay.
rather than the company's. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I just like was confused why. Well, I understand now. Well, like how the cash portion on the assets was credit decreasing and the owner's equity was debit decreasing, but it's just flipped around because one's on the liability side, one's on the asset side.
Exactly. Yes, you got it. It's okay. So what two accounts are affected when a business pays cash for a cell phone bill?
Cash and owner.
Well, they're calling it a communications expense, which is an owner's equity expense. Yeah, it's like the sub chart underneath. Yes, exactly. So you're right enough, like. What two accounts are affected when a business sells services on account?
Sales, and yeah.
Sales and account receivable. Well done. The dream team in the back has got it going, right? What two accounts are affected when a business receives cash on account? Good. Cash and accounts receivable. Because your good debt is going down and replacing it with money, which most people would rather have the money than good debt. Is the drawing account increased on the debit or credit side?
Debit.
That is correct, because it's like a personal asset. Are revenue accounts increased on the debit or credit side? That's, for example, sales was a revenue account.
Credit.
Well done. Joe's paying attention today. You're on it.
I'm on it.
That's the end of our 2-3. We still have a solid half hour, it looks like, right? Let's give you guys the 2-3 packet. Let's work through that as much as we can here today. I think we can probably do it. You're welcome. If we can't, we'll just deal with it next class. We'll start.
Can you put a light on it? See inside there? Yeah, doctor. Does it look like
Will you guys leave one on Gavin's desk too, Shaw? You'll be in charge of that?
Yeah.
I'll come by and grab them all, the extras at the end. Yes. How's that nose doing? I mean, this won't stop for you.
Just leave it dry and don't let it. Don't touch it.
I'm leaving.
I know this is
One short. I usually have 3 leftovers, and I had 4. I'm like, I did something here. You take the extras here.
It's like mind your own slightly Why is it
Yes.
The way that the T-charts, they're not in the specific debit or credit column.
Correct. So you, by labeling the type of account that goes on it,
It implies which side it's on.
yes. Yeah, by you declaring it like this is going to be a. Go away. Okay, here we go. All right. So March 11th, sold services on account to Johannes Erickson, $125. What two accounts? I guess we probably need to scroll up so we can see the accounts, huh? Oh, they're the same accounts from the working together 2-2. Great. I can't see that right now.
Well, they want us on 2 pages at once.
Yeah, I know. It's like, come on, man. Like, can't you just do it again? All right. Sold services on account to Johannes Erickson, $125. What two accounts are going to be affected?
Services and accounts receivable.
So accounts receivable, Johannes Erickson for sure.
And then it would be sales.
Sales. Yeah.
That's what I was confused about.
Yeah, so those will be the two account names. Accounts receivable is what type of class? That's an asset. So the $125 should be a debit, so on the left. Sales is a equity class, so the $125 should be a credit on the right. Remember, for liabilities and equities, the pluses are credits. You know, like going back to this picture here, right? Received cash from sales, $260. The two accounts affected are cash and sales. Cash is a asset, so the 100 or the 260 goes on the debit side. That's the left. Sales is a equity. Close enough though, like right, doesn't have to change anything. So the 260 goes on the credit side on the right. Very good. You guys feel like it's getting easier? Again, that working through examples is really the part that kind of hammers this stuff home. It's one of those where like I read the book and I'm like, this doesn't help. I just need to do this. Like I need to do the numbers to make sure I got it. March 14th, paid cash for telephone bill, $54. The two accounts affected are? Well, it says one of the things listed on the page that we'd have to go back to that I don't want to have to jump back and forth because I just have it zoomed in and centered nicely, was utility expense. That's the other account that seems like the one that you want to pick.
Could I just say telephone bill, would you accept that as an answer?
In a case where it's like we listed these are the specific account names, it would have to be one of the account names.
Okay.
So it would depend a little on context, Joe.
So it'd be a business expense?
So it says utilities expense was the title that was listed in where it says working together 2-2 gave us all these account category or account titles. That was the one that we would have chosen there because telephone bill wasn't one of them.
Okay.
Now in general, if it's your company, you can name your accounts anything you want, but it makes sense to like dump in the telephone bill and the heat and the water and the garbage or whatever your bills are all into like this one account title because they're not happening very often. You know, you get like one of those every month or so. So you probably don't need to go bananas and create a separate account for each one of them. That's like a lot of extra paper to deal with. Okay. We said cash and utility expense, right? Cash is a what type? Asset. So if we're paying $54, that 54 is a credit, so it's on the right. Utility expense is a equity, This affects equity. So if it's being subtracted, it should go on the debit side, right? Because we're taking from the asset side, we also have to take from the liability and equity side to keep that accounting equation in balance, right? So minuses in equity are debits. March 16th, received cash on account from Johannes Eriksson, $125. The two accounts affected are cash and accounts receivable. For the cash, that's well, it's an asset. So if we're getting cash, that makes it a debit. So 125 goes on the debit side. Accounts receivable is a asset also. So if we have a plus on the asset category, this one has to be a minus, so it's a credit to the accounts receivable in the same amount. Does that feel okay? Because those are on the same side of the accounting equation. Correct. They're both assets. Ben, does that make?
Yeah.
Okay. And then March 19th, paid cash to owner for a withdrawal of equity, $200. So the two accounts affected are,
Cash, owner's equity.
well, the list from there, you'd pick the drawing account. So it says John Jansen drawing. What's that?
What's it?
I think it's called John Jensen Drawing is the name of the account in which the owner is taking money out. That's pretty common. That's called drawing. Anytime you're the owner and you're taking money out of your business.
And for this, question, do we have to, write owner's equity and then make the second key chart or no?
No, you do not.
Okay.
It was just explaining to you why that's still a debit or whatever. So the 200 for John Jensen is a debit in the drawing account, and cash is a credit, $200, because you're losing that $200 out of the cash register. It was $200 was what came out of the drawing.
What was the title of it?
John Jensen Drawing. So that's the name of the account. Is going to be like the owner's name, and then drawing is owner pulling money out.
Would rent be a utility expense?
I would say, well, one of the titles was rent expense, apparently.
Where are the titles at?
So if you would go back to the 2-2 work together, that was on page 42, so that's back 7 pages. So that would be 96, I guess. So if I do that, and I go back and I look, these are the account titles here. Joe, I'll scoot back to the other one.
Okay.
If you guys want to write those down for a minute, in case you want them. I assume you're going to need them again for the application problem. Oh boy, I should not have done what I just did. Okay. So I scrolled back just to get these for you guys. I don't know if you want to write those down or not. And then I'm going to scroll back to 2-3 on your own here in a second, so you can see the transactions. People ask, like, what's this, where's this list at? Like, what are the things on the list of accounts? Sam took a picture, he's smart like that. It's like, I'm not gonna write all this stuff down, that's what my camera's for. Dang right. All right. You ready for me to go back here, folks?
Yeah.
And it's a graphic, so.
Okay. And again, if you have a textbook with you, you just go back to page, what, like 42 or something, it has a list of accounts.
Correct. I'd say sales. Correct.
Thank you.
I'd say sales and then
Sold service on account.
Giannis.
What's the
Oh, I don't know Theo Moses.
second title?
Who is Theo Moses? That's not one of the options, but.
Accounts receivable, and then dash, you know.
I heard you say something.
You always have accounts receivable, and then
Down the hill.
it'll be whoever buys from you as your customer, because who knows if you're gonna get repeat business from Theo Moses or not, right? Like,
So just do John.
so it's just like accounts receivable, and then whoever's the customer.
So what's sales would be a
No, but yeah, well, that's gonna be great.
debit, or no, sales would be a credit line.
You're asking about?
Well,
Yes.
Sales would be a credit.
Yeah. Correct.
Sales is for which one?
It's funny.
So for 15, it'd be accounts receivable by Theo Moses, and then sales.
Yes, are the two accounts.
Yeah.
Accounts receivable is an asset.
Yeah.
That's going up.
Yeah.
That's a debit.
Uh-huh.
Sales
It's a
is a
credit.
is a
Well,
credit,
Well, it's like
but it's a equity,
Yeah, makes sense.
so it's a credit. Yep, which is what we had said. Joe, you knew it yourself. You just had to talk it out to yourself.
Yeah.
Like you end up at the same place we did, and you're like, an extra credit. Oh yeah, okay, that's a credit. You know, like,
I just like flip them around. I don't know why.
again, easy to do.
Small details.
You know, this is about being careful, right? Remind me again,
Ready?
were you making up the test? Is that? On Friday. Okay.
Oh, no, but you're receiving cash from an account.
Yes. If it's not there, that, I'll give you a copy. I'll give you guys a copy. I can't remember if I didn't in the meantime, I went down there or not for you.
You're gaining X.
So, if it's not, just come back and tell me. I'll-
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, sorry about the mix up.
Was I right from before?
And in general, Corrado, if that ever happens, you can just come down to that cover it's no big deal.
Okay. Yep.
They don't wanna like screw up our plan, right? Like, because I did something silly and forgot.
Right, right, left. Right, left, left, right. Same that. Application now.
In general, you guys feel okay with kind of the way we're doing this, where just, most of this we just kind of do together and talk it out?
Yeah. Let's go.
I've been pretty, pretty pleased with your relative engagement on doing this, which is nice. I'd rather this be everything gets done here in class and nothing has to really come home with you as much as possible class. That's my vision for it. Hope nobody's too upset about that. Short of stray, set of review questions or study for a test or a 3-minute presentation. Okay. Did you get them all right? Good. All right. You guys, let me read through the solutions here for on your own. June 12, rent is a debit. Cash is a credit.
There you go.
June 14th, cash is a debit. Sales is a credit. June 15th, account receivable is a debit. Sales is a credit. June 18th, drawing is a debit. Cash is a credit. June 19th, cash is a debit. Accounts receivable is a credit. Nice. Feels like you guys are getting it. Watch out.
I think I got it. Last page, just throwing it out. Alright, so. Alright, wait. Is it this one right here? Alright.
Yeah, this is the 2-3 application.
Receipt cash and sales.
I'm just checking if this looks right. This is the last one.
Let's do utility.
I just want to make sure. Because I feel like I'm just making small mistakes with where I'm labeling it. Like either equity, liability, or asset.
Okay.
Mr. Kulik,
Yes, sir.
would advertising be a utility expense?
I would not call it a utility.
So it would just be a business expense.
Right, advertising expense is one of the options, though.
Oh, it is.
We're looking at the next problem already.
Didn't say anything.
So this is my key. So cash sales, looks good. And then expense sales.
Or gain debit. That's right.
Oh,
wait,
cash
cash,
and cash and expense. Yep. And then we have sales and accounts receivable.
So it looks like I'm
Cash, withdrawal,
Alright,
and then cash and accounts receivable.
perfect.
Looks good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So sales. So we sold sales, which that goes to what? That goes for that. Sure though. We sold services on account. Sure. Maybe that's credit though. Sure. Sold services on account. Sure. Sales would be a credit. You sold, yeah, sales should be a credit, right? It's going to your owner's equity. Alright. So I think that's more good. Is that sales and account? Would 18 be a drawing or debit?
Would 18 be what?
A drawing.
Yes. absolutely.
It's
Yeah.
accounts receivable and
Yeah.
sales.
So cash,
It would be left for accounts receivable.
and then John.
Johnson drawing.
Well, this is a different owner. This is,
Oh.
the owner for this company is Sawyer Health Free.
Can I just put SH? I don't know how to spell that.
I would just put owner, comma, drawing, I think would be okay. Since the name is, the point is that it's the owner.
You're losing credit.
Wait, what? Pay cash.
Can I use the restroom? Can I also use the restroom?
So receive
Oh, praise the Lord,
shares.
Jesus.
And then accounts for receipt.
Hallelujah.
Nico.
And Tommy, when you come back, will you lose the sweatshirt for me?
Yes, I
Cash.
Thanks. Appreciate that. Joey, as long as we're getting on people out of sweatshirts, I'll just say something to you. And Ben, same thing with your jacket. And James,
Oh, shit.
the same thing with your sweatshirt. If you guys can take care of the outerwear.
Oh, yeah.
It's probably gotten warmed up enough being sitting in the building that it's not a big deal anymore, but if I'm gonna talk to one person about it, I gotta get everybody else, so.
Okay.
Thanks, fellas.
Someone call me up to do it with John.
Chihuahua. Let's go Chihuahua.
Chihuahua.
So notice that this is the last section in chapter 2. What's that mean? Test coming, right? Next class, I'll give you guys the review pack that you can work on. And we'll be doing the test, what does that mean, Monday? Right, because today's Tuesday, Thursday will be the review, Monday will be the test. Should be okay. It's homecoming week, but like, at least it's Monday of homecoming week before any nonsense is kind of geared up.
Last game, they didn't for this, that's
But he blamed himself for it.
okay. Ready? So match. I got tight. I'm down. Play.
This
No, you were. I thought it was.
That wasn't democratic.
Said like we eventually had
Oh, good. Zero on it.
So I have got
All right, guys, you ready for me to read through the application answers here?
Yeah.
All right. June 11th, your two accounts are cash and sales. Cash is a debit, sales is a credit. June 12th, your accounts are advertising expense and cash. Advertising expense is a debit, cash is a credit. June 14th, your accounts are accounts receivable and credit. Accounts receivable is $17,000 of a debit. Sales is a credit in the same amount. June 18th, your accounts are Sawyer Health Free Drawing and cash. The drawing account is a debit, cash is a credit. And June 19th, your accounts are cash and accounts receivable. Cash is a debit, accounts receivable, credit.
What was number, June 11th?
June 11th, cash and sales. Cash is debit, sales is credit.
Receive cash on account. Are we turning these in?
Yes, both packets. You can stick into the folder before you go.
Cash on debit.
And we are done for today.
No stapling?
No stapling necessary. I did all the stapling.